Happy Tuesday. I hope it's Tuesday because that's how I'm operating today, as if it's Tuesday. Okay, so today, what I want to talk about is being in these super uncertain and confusing times, which we're all well aware of. And for some of us, that means we don't know, well, for most of us, I think it means we don't know what the future looks like, right? We don't know for sure if our kids are going back to school in the fall, which, heaven help me, please, please, please let them go back to school in the fall. It means, like our economy, our jobs, all of these things are so uncertain. And I think most of us like to plan and to know what the future is going to look like. Even if we don't like to plan, our mind likes to make up stories about the future. And the reality is we don't know what the future looks like. We just don't. And so that leads to a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of this suffering, right, that happens because we just don't know. And so I want to offer you something to think about, or a way to look at things while everything is, not even just right now when everything is so uncertain, but especially now. And that is, in the wise words of Elsa, to just do the next right thing. I first heard this phrase, this mantra, maybe 4 years ago or something. I read a book called Love Warrior by Glennon Doyle, and she talks a lot about doing the next right thing as she works through this grand life upheaval, and she has to figure out all these things. And what's beautiful about doing the next right thing is the next right thing will always lead you to the next right thing. If you're doing the right thing for this moment, it's the right thing. And we can try to manipulate and plan and figure out the future and guess what it is, but we never know. All we know is right now what's happening here. And so sometimes the next right thing looks like, I just need to lay down on my bed and take a 10-minute break, right? Sometimes the next right thing looks like this just inner knowing that I have to move from my home, which I love and adore, in California, back to Utah. Right? Sometimes it's big things, sometimes it's little things, but in the moment, you can ask yourself, what is the next right thing for me right now? I have to ask myself that with my kids all the time as we're doing this crisis schooling at home. And it's hard, it is really hard. And the next right thing I have to ask is the next right thing to push them to get it done, and or is the next right thing to allow some space? And it goes back and forth every day. And I have to keep checking in with that. I keep having to ask myself, what's the next right thing with my business? What's the next right thing for, my daily emotional, spiritual, physical well-being? I think we can ask ourselves that for, if you're a business owner, asking yourself, what's the next right thing for my business? Maybe it's, shutting down. Maybe it's making sure your employees are taken care of. Maybe it's whatever it is. But the next right thing in this moment will lead you to the next right thing and the next. And then when you look back, here's the beautiful thing, is when you look back without regret, right? Because you look back knowing that in every moment you were doing the next right thing. And wherever you end up, that's where you're supposed to be. Maybe that seems oversimplified, but in moments when I can feel that anxiety rising, especially when I first started implementing this many years ago, when I would feel that anxiety rising, I would just come back to, okay, what's the next right thing, And now I feel like that's become such a part, just a natural part of the way I operate. It's a neural pathway that's been created that I'm always thinking about. I respect the future, right? I respect that 10 years from now, I don't want to be living in a cardboard box, and I don't want wild apes for children, right? So I respect that. I know that in the future, I want to be financially stable. I want to, I have these things that I know, that these general things that I know I want for the future, but I don't let those dictate. I don't live my life trying to manipulate the future, right? I'm here now, the next right thing, this is what I want. Another thing to think about in that is that when you're living in the next right thing, it allows you this sense of peace and this sense of accomplishment, because you're doing the right thing, if that makes sense. And so if we want to live happy lives, if we want to live in that's what we're always after, is this contentment, right? And if we're doing the next right thing, it gives us that today. It's not something we have to wait for 10 years down the road in the future when we've checked all the boxes. So anyway, okay, that's what I want to leave you with. Tomorrow, one last Redefining Happy webinar, last chance. It's at noon Mountain Time. I'll drop the link in the comments, so if you want to join that, you can. But we're all doing it. We're surviving. We're still here. So good luck. I'm proud of you for just living each day. And I will see you at 1:30 on Friday. Okay, take care.